Hi everyone, this is my 23.3 work experience evaluation unit by Aaron Sparrock. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the company that I actually did the work experience with. The company is called Fit for Sport. Fit for Sport, designs activity camps with multi-sport games, sports and other activities and other leisure activities, and families put their children in through this to improve their sporting skills, to get more active and to set foundations for the future, and that's what Fit for Sport aims to actually do. They actually aim to set foundations for children from 10 to 17 and actually set a foundation for them for the future so they can continue to do sport. Obviously funding, it's almost self-funded. While there are small donations from the lottery and things like that, this is mainly runs off its own money and income from payments from the families. And obviously these Fit for Sport camps only run in holidays and things like that. They're not actually full-time. They're part-time in holidays, Christmas holidays, Easter holidays, things like that. And obviously, before I did this, I set targets to do while I was actually at Fit for Sport. My first goal that I set myself was to learn 3 new qualifications that I didn't know about before from other coaches. There is an official course that I learned that I didn't actually know about that I'm actually planning to take in the future now because of this. So obviously this target was actually very helpful for me learning about new qualifications. One of them that I learned was there was actually an officiating course for all sports that I didn't know about, just a general officiating course. There are also other courses in child communication and coaching children specifically. Some of these are free, some of them cost, but the main ones I actually learnt about were circuit training level 1s and 2s and things like that. Things that I didn't actually know about before, I learned. There weren't many obstacles in this target, simply because there are so many coaches. I could sort of pick their brains and sort of learn from them and sort of learn what they did, their past, what qualifications they did to get to the job, what experience they had before, things like that. And it's actually benefited for me because now I can look back and think, right, where can I fit these things in? What can I do? And how can I plan and what can I add to my resume to make me look a better coach and make myself a better coach? So that's target 1. It was very helpful. There weren't many obstacles, and I did achieve it in the end. I learned plenty more than just 3. I learned 7 or 8 things that I didn't know about before in terms of qualifications that I could get. So, target number 2. My second target was to plan and prepare 3 different drills. For all of them are in different sports. So I wanted to plan and prepare 3 drills for 3 separate sports. I wasn't actually able to complete this. I planned and prepared and actually completed 2 drills for 2 different sports. I was unable to do it simply because the training sessions were already planned and coaches were already running it before I got there. So almost in effect they had set it up 2 weeks in advance. So by the time I got there I didn't have the time to sort of say, can I run this session? However, I was able to take 2 different sports and the plans went very well and I stuck to my plans and my drills and everything went actually according to plan. So while I didn't actually complete the target, I did still learn some things from this and I was able to benefit from the target. All of my drills were successful. They all had aims and purpose and targets for all of the children. And I think the children generally improved and liked the drills as well. I thought they were very well planned, they were very educated, and they were put in place for a reason. They weren't just random drills that weren't relevant to the session at all. They were purposeful, and they helped the children improve their skills in areas such as passing, dribbling for basketball, and strengthening up in cardiovascular systems and things like that for the multi-sports and for the circuit trainings. So then, target 3. My third target was more a personal target for me, rather than working on my organisational skills or things like that. This was more a personal target and internal for me. I was trying to improve my clarity as a coach and make any comment or aim or discussion or drill meaningful and have clarity behind it so students and participants could understand what objectives and targets that I was putting in place and why I was actually doing the drill and why they're linked. This was really hard to actually monitor if this was successful and if I had improved or whatnot. It was quite a hard one to do, but evaluating it and asking students and participants after I'd done the training sessions and after I'd completed the training sessions, it was very interesting because I actually learned they really understood the targets, they really understood the aims of the sessions itself, the aims of it all. They understood the targets and what we were actually going for, and they understood how the drills were actually going to improve them. And I think that sort of shows how meaningful the drills were, and that I actually sort of explained it to an extent where they sort of understood, okay, we're doing this drill simply because it's going to help us with this, that, and the other, and it's going to go towards the target that Aaron set at the start of the training session. So things like that. So I could sort of tell that even though it's hard to actually monitor it, I feel as though my clarity got further and further and increased as the weeks went by in my work experience. In terms of obstacles for this, it was very hard to monitor if it was successful or not. That was the only obstacle. It was once you sort of found that niche that you can sort of find ways in which to sort of pick their brains and sort of figure out if it was successful or not, then that sort of broke down the obstacle, and there wasn't much stopping you up other than that. So target number 4. Target number 4 was sort of a skills sort of thing that was improving my coaching skills in this. And my target specifically was, I'd like to learn and understand how to adapt to somebody who has more or less skill and change the drill or game. This happened definitely once or twice in numerous occasions when I was actually running the session as the coach. And it was very interesting because the drills that I set up, I actually added things that could be changed to it to make sure that if something like this was going to happen, there would be sort of measurements and things put in place so it didn't happen further on. So somebody started to dominate in a passing drill at football. And I said, before you pass, you have to take 2 touches, making it harder for him to pass and find open players. It sort of meant that the skill level sort of stayed the same. That way, nobody really loses track and everyone stays focused and actually enjoys it a lot more. And that way, nobody really dominates and things like that, and everybody really enjoys it a lot more when that happens. In terms of obstacles, there wasn't much really because it happened naturally. I couldn't really sort of make people be better at things. You know, they just generally happened. There was no real obstacle because it happened at such a natural rate. So there weren't really many obstacles for this. It was hard to start with and to begin with, but obviously because I planned the drills in advance, it made things a lot easier when it happened. I was able to revert back to the plan and add the adaptation, and from there it worked very well. So I believe that this target really helped improve my skills as a coach, and definitely helped me not just skills as a coach and skills of adapting, but skills of planning as well. I definitely had to think, right, what can I do to this drill to make it easier or harder for somebody? My final target was to simply learn how to use 10 or 12 different pieces of equipment that I had never used or never seen before. This was really hard because a lot of the equipment we actually used in the trainings and the things like that in the session we used, I'd seen before and I knew how to use it anyway. So I had to actually go and find sort of 6 or 7 pieces of equipment I wasn't really sure how to use. And obviously that was the obstacle. I couldn't really find any equipment that I hadn't used before and I didn't know how to use. So that was the main obstacle. So it wasn't really completed because I couldn't really find enough pieces of equipment that I didn't know how to use. But it definitely helped me benefit because now that I know that on a basic sort of coaching level from 10 to 17-year-olds, I now know that any piece of equipment that I find in a shed or on a court or on a pitch, I can use productively, I can use safely, and I actually know what it's used for and when can it or can't it be used. So the target, while it wasn't fully completed, I still think it helped.